So my last video gained a bunch more traction than I thought, and honestly it might just be the same people coming back over and over again to leave comments. And from that I did learn that I have kind of been saying something that was wrong, and it's based on a flawed understanding of what happened after I left Campagnolo at the end of 2018. When I left at 2018, 12-speed EPS 4 was well into production, and it was like they hit that battery problem. They couldn't get 14430 cells. That was what was in V3. That was in what was in V2, and so V4, the 12-speed, they switched to 14500. Power unit gets longer, but who cares? They've got a few on the shelf. So at that time, there was zero direction to make. Now, I wasn't on that part of the project. Sometimes I would see things and help out, but really, I guess 3 years after I left, they realized that that was insufficient, and they created a updated 11-speed power unit. Basically, I mean, internally, the circuit boards are the same. It's just the batteries are different and the housing is a little bit longer, maybe thicker. Don't know about that. So they just put the 11-speed firmware on the 12-speed, put a label on it and said, there, replacements. I mean, that's it. Like 12-speed is 11-speed with different firmware and a different slightly updated rear derailleur. Like, you know, the motors are the same, the drive gears are the same, with the exception of firmware tweaks. The interface is the same. Like there's nothing really different except firmware. And then they made the shifters such that it would be intentionally incompatible. However, he did also correct me that the service center only, which, yeah, sure. I haven't met any, at least in North America, any cycling pro centers or shops that have the right stuff to kind of go above and beyond on a in-depth modification of replacing a board. Now, it's only just screwed in there. It's fairly easy to do, but like there is a lot of fiddly components in there. So I've never seen anyone actually do it. It sounds like it's a very specialty thing of trying to keep a client happy by moving them to 12-speed cheap or something. Now, when I went looking, I found 3 non-authorized Campagnolo dealers, 1 maybe, we'll touch on that, but 2 at least definitely non-authorized and 1 maybe authorized that had these available. This also led me to the Campagnolo website where store locators work much. This is highly frustrating. I emailed them on this, and if I hear back, I'll just update it above. But like as of right now, I have searched about 40 different cities in all of Canada and the US, switching sites, turning on VPNs, turning off VPNs, never letting it do geolocation because I don't hold with that. But I found one shop in all of my searching. Whereas now, if I type in London, UK, or if I type in like their home, Vicenza or Milan, lots. But if I type in every single major city above 1 million, sometimes it finds the city, but it shows no shops. But most of the time it doesn't find the city. Like, and I've tried postal codes, I've tried every variation of address. So just because in some places that this replacement is available, and even his listing said availability in February, so currently not. I just released a video dealing with things like warranty support and cost of marketing and all of these things, and how like we were ridiculed for the cost. Well, those circuit boards haven't changed, but if my Di2 bike breaks, I can go to one of 5 shops in the city, and for a Dura-Ace or Ultegra, because it's the same part, but let's say Dura-Ace, for Dura-Ace level, which Campagnolo might say isn't the same super record, but the market says is the same, if not better, it's $100. And I can pick it up right now. I have to ship, and $600? And okay, sure, it's one extra cell compared to the Di2 one, but it doesn't have a lot more smarts. And this is part of my problem. So whether or not it's available, $600 for something that should have had a removable battery, that is literally in low volumes, a $15 to $20 pack, that at the maximum sports tech retail markup should be 5x, so should be $100, is $600 or $700? Yeah, I get it. It's fine. You can say whatever, but it's not hugely viable for someone who, I mean, let's say they bought a bike and it had a 2016, like they bought it new at the end of that cycle just before 12 speed comes out, and 18 months later, what do? You don't, if you don't live next to a shop, you just want a replacement part. They're not warranting it. You can't ship, most people can't ship lithium batteries, or sometimes get rejected and turned around and fined. Yeah, it's not a great situation. So I'm glad it's available, but it doesn't really solve half the problems. And it should be like a trade-in program that any bike, because you can't really buy these through anything but bike shops because they don't want you to. They're not as bad as Shimano, but you should be able to bring it into the bike shop, and for $100, here's your 2021. No questions asked. Full stop. You have a V3 unit. Here it is, $100. Here's your 2021 with new cells in it. That should be the program. And as far as I've been able to tell, most of the shops that I've reached out to, they don't even know the 21 exists. They've never stocked it. They've told clients, some of them have told me that they have told clients, and this might be before it had launched, so they're just remembering 2 or 3 years ago, that they said, you're out of luck, you got to buy a full 12 speed, and most of them said most customers were pretty peeved by that. So yeah, available, but like 1 out of 5 stars, minimum requirement, not an acceptable standard. $600 or $700 for these things is no, it's a joke. $100 replacement maximum. That's what you should be aiming at. I don't care.